leave the GOAT alone. You black folks need to leave the GOAT alone. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. How you guys doing today? Am I late? What time is it? 8:28. It's a little bit out of the catchment. I know it's like a little half an hour late. I know you guys like me to get in between 8:30 and 9 because people got to start doing work and stuff, and I get most of my people on the drive-in, and so I apologize. I'm just here eating breakfast. Now, I got some insights for you today. For any of you able to get on here, but I'm going to say it again. You black people need to leave the GOAT alone. We're going to talk about it. We're going to chop it up. We're going to get into it. I call this episode Breakfast with Del. I know some of you hate when I eat online. That's why I do it. But let's talk. We have some sudden stuff happening. And just so you know, so you can get to the end, I tied this in really nicely with the Bible. I got this. I locked it in. Some of y'all, I'm going to lock it in. So I'm going to get there in a minute. But let's talk, okay? Also, I wanted this session to be, I want the mornings to be a lot of a question answer. If you guys have a random topic, I don't mind being taken off topic. And we can do that, okay? We can have an open forum. But man, I got some stuff to talk about today. I do. Now, let's establish something I think that we need to make very clear for some of you, because some of you you really just don't know how to act. You don't know how to act when it comes to, I'm talking to black people, I'm talking to everybody, but I'm here for you today. I'm taking y'all to the whipping shed today, because we don't know how to act when it comes to honoring some of our, and I'll call them, I'll use the word loosely, heroes / accomplished people in our community. We don't know how to act sometimes. You don't know how to behave sometimes when it comes to, looking out for the individuals who have been pioneers, who have been trendsetters. And Michael Jordan is one of them. I want to Google something really quick before I say that. Michael Jordan is the first black majority owner of an NBA team. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know he's the very first black man to be a majority owner of an NBA team? Okay, I had to look this name up. Do you know the last time a black man, I got his name right here, was the majority owner of a sports franchise? You know what his name was? This thing better stop making noise. I ain't put you on to make noise. It's my backup phone. His name was Andrew Rube Foster. Do you know who that guy is? Andrew Rube Foster. Go Google that guy. Too late, I got the information right here. Andrew Rube Foster was the founder and executive director of the Negro Baseball League, the Negro National League. He founded it. That's 1920. That's the last time one of our people was the majority owner of a major sports franchise. And Michael is the very first majority owner of an NBA team. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And when you look at the criticism that we give Michael Jordan, we give no other owner in the NBA that type of criticism. We act like Michael is the coach, is the GM. We act like he is the guy cleaning the floor. We act like he's the scouts. We're making it like Michael is just doing everything, like he's the only Negro working in the whole franchise. Come on, man. Come on. This needs to stop. Today is a great day. It's the very first day of the NBA Finals. It's Christmas for some of us basketball heads. It's Christmas, and listen. We didn't know if this day would come. The way that these boys were dealing with Kyrie, we didn't know if we would even be turning our television on for this. We didn't know if the league would continue the way that some of us wanted it. Oh, shucks. I did not put on my do not disturb. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. I can't have these people interrupt me. This is too good. I'm back. I can't have these people interrupt me, man. Listen, we didn't know this day would come. And look how it came. And watch this. This is what's happening with Michael Jordan right now, okay? So for those who've been watching basketball, and like I said, I'm going to tie this into the book, to that scripture. I'm going to tie it in. For those who've been watching basketball, Jimmy Butler won the so-called MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. But the backstory is that Caleb Martin should have won the MVP. That's right. And some of you are like, who's Caleb Martin? Well, I'm going to tell you. Caleb Martin is a young kid, came through the G League, worked his way up, and apparently was playing for the Charlotte Hornets, or was on their roster. And Charlotte waived him 2 years ago, like in 2021. Now, the young boy did what young boys do. He put his nose down, worked on his game, got back into the league, and now is contending for an NBA championship as one of the most dangerous dudes on the Miami Heat. If the Miami Heat win a championship, let me tell you something. Caleb Martin's fingerprints will be all over it. And if they don't, it'll be because Caleb Martin wasn't the Caleb Martin we saw against Boston. That's it. That's the only reason that the Miami Heat will literally be destroyed by Denver. I still got Denver in 4. Good morning, Yvonne. But Caleb Martin has to put a cape on, and so does Jimmy Butler, in order for those guys. And Bam can't be the Bam that we saw the other night. That series. Bam, you were getting eaten alive by Williams. We're eating you alive, and I don't know what you're going to do with that big old Serbian boy over there in Denver. I don't know what you're going to do with the Joker. But anyway, so Michael Jordan is being blamed for dealing or waiving this Caleb Martin. Like Jordan has, he has some kind of crystal ball to see how the level of work ethic a particular kid has. Clearly, when Caleb Martin was playing for Charlotte, he wasn't the Caleb Martin we saw the other day. Clearly wasn't that guy. So you waive him because he wasn't showing you the goods. We can't look into a guy's belly and see, hey, does this guy have the capacity to be great one day, 2 years down the road? But they're basically fricasseeing Jordan for that. And not only that, things have come up. One of his good friends, I don't know, we keep calling people his best friend. Charles Barkley's his best friend. I don't know. That's probably not, has never been true. It's just been something the media says. But Barkley said, Michael's not a very good owner. He hasn't been doing a good job, right? Now, Barkley, Charles Barkley couldn't probably run a lemonade stand in Auburn in the summertime, right? With an ice shortage. He probably couldn't. He couldn't run a successful lemonade stand. Michael is running a successful NBA franchise, a multi-billion-dollar initiative. And the number one people who keep coming for him look like him. Let's get into this talk. What is it about us that we eat our own? What is it about us? Let's have a real good old fat. Let's sit down here at the breakfast table while I eat my cereal. What is it about us that we have so much smoke for these people are racist. These people are anti-black. These people don't want us to succeed. They're trying to hold us back. Dell, did you hear about these people out here in Mississippi? Dell, have you heard about what's going on in Florida with the Santas? And we're pointing the fingers at all these individuals, all these Canaanites, all the ites, right? The ites with W's, right? And we're saying they do this and they do that. But look at us. Look what we do listen, come on. That's the GOAT. For those who don't know what the GOAT means, it means GOAT, greatest of all time. We call him the GOAT, right? He's referred to as the GOAT. They're trying to pass that off on somebody else right now playing in LA, who's been playing for a very long time, whose name will not be mentioned on this show because I'm going to talk about his guy, Shannon Sharp, in a minute. But this show's about the GOAT. The GOAT should not be scrutinized by his own people in this way. I can't wait for y'all to come on this later. I can't wait for the sports people to see this and pick this up later. Michael Jordan is an institution of the black community. If Oprah is an institution, if Tyler Perry is an institution, if BET, when black people owned it, when Bob Johnson owned it, was an institution. I heard BET is getting bought back by black folks. Is that true? I don't know. But if we have anything that is a cottage industry of what is considered to be black, Michael Jordan is it. Michael Jordan is it. Come on, man. Say his name again. Andrew Rube Foster. Andrew Rube Foster was the last majority owner we had. Can I read a little bit about him? Andrew Rube Foster. Let me just click here. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, by the way. This is where I'm reading this from. African Americans played baseball and played the game at a very high level, since the game spread across American territories during the Civil War. But many of those talented players would likely not have become the legends they are today without the visibility offered by an organized league in which they could play. On February 13, 1920, Hall of Famer Andrew Rube Foster and his fellow team owners filled that void when they came together to create the Negro National League. When baseball first became organized in the 1860s, a small handful of black players took the diamond alongside their white teammates. But with Jim Crow laws and prevalent segregationist sentiment still left over from the Civil War, the careers of talented black players like Moses Fleetwood Walker, Bud Fowler, Frank Grant were short-lived. And by the turn of the 20th century, unwritten rules of gentlemen's agreements between owners and effectively shut black players out of the big league competition. You know what I'm saying? Let's see who's at this door. So, Rube was a serious man for the black community in the 1920s. Hey guys,
What's up, man?
come on.
Hey, look at that AC.
The AC, yeah, it's not working.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So, Rube now organized himself with partners and put himself together to form the Negro League. And imagine forming a Negro League, a professional baseball league, right? In the 1920s. Imagine doing that in the 1920s. Jim Crow, segregation, lynching, no civil rights. Come on. You notice another thing? I had to look his name up. Most of y'all never heard of him. That's how we are about our history. That's how we are about the individuals who've paved the way. This man, listen to me. You're telling me that in the 90s, we can't even get a black man to put up to buy a franchise now. Do we have any black majority owners in the major in the baseball? In football? We do not give our people their flowers. let me read a little bit more of this, right? Still craving a means of play, Black players formed their own teams and barnstormed across the country to find competition. It was in this environment that Rube Foster made a name for himself as a player and then a manager, right? Does this sound familiar? As a player, then a manager. A dominant pitcher. He won 44 games in a row for the Philadelphia Cuban ex-Giants in 1902 and became a legendary career that inspired fans to call him the Black Christy Matheson. I don't know what the heck that is. I guess Christy Matheson was somebody good. Rube Foster is the pitcher of the Leland Giants, and he has all the speed of Amos Russi, the tricks of Hoss Radbourn, and the heady coolness and deliberation of Cy Young, wrote Frederick North Shorey of the Indianapolis Freeman in 1907. What does that make him? Why, the greatest baseball pitcher in the country. And that is what the best ball players of white persuasion that have gone up against him have to say. Talk to me about this guy. This dude is the baddest pitcher ever. He could throw it, twist it, duck it, send it by you with speed. White pitchers were like, we ain't never seen nothing like this guy. Oh, the things that he can do in a baseball. And we don't even know his name. Gotta be more of my cereal. He's the greatest pitcher in the history of pitching. And Black people don't even know his name. And we are here in 2023 dealing with the greatest basketball player of all time, bar none, who has raised up himself from being a little kid from North Carolina to being a six-time NBA champion, having stats comparable to Chamberlain at 6'5.5". I met him. He's not 6'6". He's 6'5.5". And now he's the first Black billionaire sports mogul. He is the first majority owner, and we keep dragging Jordan. Black people don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to talking about white people. If you ever open your mouth to drag people like that. One of the greatest things I heard Al Sharpton say, one of the greatest things I heard him say, and it took my respect level for Al Sharpton from the basement to, I won't say the mountaintop, but he went up to at least the 50th floor of a condominium. Al Sharpton said this, and some of y'all gonna fight me and wrestle me when I say this, but he said this. When they asked him of some of the policies of Barack Obama that did not seem that they were policies that were focused on the Black community, policies that focused on things that people in our conservative Black leanings that we're not comfortable with, Al said this: I will not allow myself, after the history that this country has experienced, to criticize the first Black president of the United States. I will not put myself in a position that allows me to articulate criticism for that office when that man is sitting there. Oh. When Al said that, I said, oh, shake my hand, Reverend Al Sharpton. That's what he became, Skinny Al. He said he will not allow himself to criticize that man sitting in that seat at this time because of the history of this country. And every single Black person who has opened up their mouth to say something negative about Michael Jeffrey Jordan as an owner should get on their knees and ask God to forgive them. Because you don't have a leg to stand on when you now declare that other communities hog tying you and keeping us as a people. You can't from climbing the mountaintop of success. Once you criticize your own, you don't have a leg to stand on no more. And this is not just something that the black community has done. This is also something that the Jewish community has done. Brother, also, my room upstairs, the vent, nothing comes through that vent either.
Oh, okay. I'll go take a look
right.
now that I got this back and running.
Cool. Let me say this. It should be nice if Michael Jordan made his sneakers affordable for his own community. Okay, Nurse Shay. That's what I want. I want an audience commentary. Let's do this. Now, Shaquille O'Neal did what you said, Nurse Shay. Shaquille O'Neal built his Shaq shoe, and his shoe was a very competitive, very affordable shoe. It was the entry-level shoe of usually young black players, right? Or young players, sorry. I remember my daughter started playing basketball, and she's like, Dad, I need a pair of shoes. I was like, you got Nike talent? You got talent? You gonna make me go out here and spend $200 to put Nikes on your feet? Nah, baby. You got to show me what you're working with. I went down to Walmart and got her a pair of Shaqs. I said, you put them on.
Sorry, which bedroom was it upstairs?
You just walk up the stairs, just walk straight.
Okay, I don't want to go to different one.
I ain't gonna let you put no Nikes on your feet. Walk in there with Nikes on your feet, and you coming out with triple, averaging a 000. No. Triple singles. No. You put them Shaqs on and go up there and show your daddy that you got the stuff, and then I'm gonna walk down to the Nike store and put some Jordans on your feet. That's what I did, right? Because, and I like what Shaq did, and also, what was his boy? Marbury did the same thing. He had a very affordable shoe, a low end shoe.
I just took a look at it. It is blowing out a little bit, but if you want, I can take a step ladder. It just has a whole bunch of dust blocking it.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be right back.
No problem. Ain't no AC in there, needs some AC, Rasta. All right. Listen, those two men, Shaq and Marbury, they did the affordable shoe thing. Jordan's shoe is a different shoe. Jordans are not affordable shoes. And you know what? That's okay. And guess what? You say it would be nice if Michael Jordan made sneakers affordable for his own community. Let me tell you something. I've made pretty good money in my life. Here and there, I've done all right. And I bought one pair of Jordans. One. However, my children, my sons, have worked at McDonald's. They've mowed lawns. They've done part-time summer work in construction. And them little, I ain't gonna say anything, but them little suckers own more Jordans than I have shoes. So let me say something. Those kids will find a way to buy them some Jordans if they want their shoes. They will find them a way. They've never made the money. I could never buy them. I said to one of my sons, I was like, boy, how in the heck do you get all this money to buy? You working at McDonald's. He was saving his money, his McDonald's paycheck to buy Jordans. And then he would have them. He might wear them once or twice. And then he'd put them on eBay and sell them for more than he bought them for. I was like, I'm doing something wrong. In fact, I believe he bought his first car with the proceeds of Jordan sneakers. This boy should be on Wall Street. Okay? That's what these kids were doing. They will find a way. Jordan sneaker is a designer shoe. It is an eclectic shoe for individuals that want status. It's a status symbol shoe. It's not a knockoff it's not a little Chinese, it's not that. It's not baller brand. It's Michael Jordan's Jordan brand shoe. And, so I understand your comment. And, but I think that we as a community don't always have to have the cheapest thing. Why should the best guy have the cheapest thing? Why should the GOAT have the most affordable shoe when Carl Kanai and Gucci and Armani and Prada and Jimmy Choo never shot a jump shot? Why all them guys get to have expensive shoes? Jordan should have heels, stilettos. Jordan should have crocodile shoes. He should have boots that a brother could rock down the street and say, yeah, I'm in my, he should have dress-up shoes. He should have patent leather. Come on, I shouldn't only have to go to Stacey Adams to get a pair of shoes. I should be able to go to Mike. So, but I do hear your point. And it would be good if he had something. But he can't water down the brand by having a discount Jordan brand. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do honor your point. I get it. I honor your point. Let's stay in the criticism of Michael. Michael's been criticized for investing in things like privatized prisons. I don't know if this is true, right? We don't know who's running Michael's investment, because we know if he's a billionaire, Mike ain't sitting down there with himself. He got people doing that for him. Let me have some cereal. So, has he been criticized? Yes, because the bigger you get, the more opportunity you have for people to scrutinize and poke holes at what you do and who you are. How much did Michael Jordan give that Afro-Latina that he married? How much money did he give that Afro-Latina woman that he married and divorced? That woman got the greatest, at the time, before Bezos and Gates cashed out their situation. But Jordan at the time gave the greatest, I believe, what's the word I'm looking for? Not child support, but gave her spousal support. He gave her the greatest amount of money I've ever seen. When I saw how much money that lady got, when I saw how much money a court took away from a man to give to this woman, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. Let me catch all the feminists now who are sharpening their razors, and all the wives who she's a wife and she deserves it. She deserves to be taken care of. You make a woman your wife. You sign on the dotted line and say I do, and put your hand up in front of God and have all these people watch you. And then you decide along the way that relationship's not going to work out. There should be something to take care of her. She's a mother of your children, especially. But even if she's not, there should be something for her. There should be something. I'm not saying to send the lady back on the street and say, go find somebody else. No. You, Michael Jordan, you a competent person, you married the woman. But my goodness gracious, the money that woman got, and this is why when you people hear me say stuff, I get so upset with you black people. Let me compare the money this woman got to the black community's reparations, okay? I still got my scripture I'm coming to in a minute about Jordan, so hold on for that. Black people's reparations should be equivalent to, I'm using a comparison between the amount of money Michael Jordan gave. Based on that, black people should have got half the country. We should have just draw a line, cut Florida in half. We should have taken Texas. We should be take the whole state of Alabama. Take Tennessee, Mississippi, California. Take all them states. Who else we want? What else we want? Take New Mexico. We want the whole of New Mexico. Take all that. You know what I'm saying? And just because we might want to go skiing sometime, we'll just take. Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah, if it's not blowing it's blowing a little bit better.
Right.
I would give it a little bit longer, but if anything, it might have to do with an AC person, not with maintenance.
Okay.
But it's blowing a little bit better after I clean out a lot of dust.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good day.
You too. We should take New York and New Jersey, and then we leave the rest of the country to everybody else. Y'all folks can have it. Y'all folks can have it. But imagine black people divorced America. Come on, let's use the American court system properly. If black people said, America, you've treated me badly, I want a divorce. And the world courts came on and said, well, let's look it up here. America, yep, you've treated these blacks horrible. Absolutely terrible. Black people, what do you want? Yep, Mexico, we want New Mexico, we want New York, we want New Jersey, we want California, we want Texas, Tennessee, we want Alabama, and Mississippi. We might get Mississippi back. We might not want Mississippi. We're going, and the court says, absolutely no problem. And oh shoot, I left out Hawaii. We want Hawaii too. Give us Hawaii. Absolutely, we're not leaving Hawaii out. Listen, and the court said, oh, no problem. Imagine the world, oh my God, the world court has cut America in half, given half of America to the black community. It's an atrocity. That's how much money this lady got. She got money like that. She got reparations. She didn't get alimony. She got reparations. Good morning, Panther X. Michael Jordan is an institution. And you black folks need to start treating your institutions properly. Now, I'm a hypocrite. Yeah. Because when I was married, I used to say, I don't want no doggone Oprah Winfrey playing in my house. I would come home, I would see anybody watching Oprah Winfrey in my house, I'd be like, turn that woman off. We're not supporting that woman. I don't want that woman in my house. When Oprah was on her old secret stuff and bashing the church and Christianity and Stedman and Gale and all the nonsense Oprah was on. I was on, you take that Oprah woman off my television. Remember my mother came over one time. She's sitting in my living room. We just bought the house too. The house is brand new. My mother helped pick the house out. The house is nicely furnished. She's sitting there, marble floor, sitting there. My son got a house, TV all on the wall, and she watching Oprah. I come in from work. I'm like, Ma, no. I took up the remote control out. I'm like, Oprah I don't play Oprah in this house. She's like, shut your mouth. Leave that black woman alone. She's a strong black woman. How dare you? Turn the TV right back on. So I've done it too. I've done it too. My mother was like, you ain't gonna turn this black woman off in front of me. I did it. But we need to stop. We need to criticize our community in secret places where only we can hear it. We need to do it like that. Like how good marriages argue. They don't argue in front of the kids. They go in the room and they whisper argue. What the heck? I did not like how you talked to me. Well, if you would have done what I said, Margaret, then I wouldn't have talked to you like that. Horace, you don't ever talk to me like that. Yeah, we would have done it like that. That's how we're supposed to talk to each other. In secret places, and then come back outside and be like, have a good face. We drag in our own. Let me hit you with something here. In Jeremiah chapter 12, you didn't think I could tie this back into the scripture, didn't you? I'm coming for Shannon Sharp just now. Shannon Sharp is coming after this. Don't go away. We're going to talk about Uncle Shannon. In Jeremiah chapter 12, right? Jeremiah does the unthinkable. He does the unthinkable. He says, God, come here. Let's have a meeting. Come here. Sit down. I have a problem with you. He calls God into his office and complains to God himself. Listen here. Let me some of y'all think you guys do that. You don't do it like Jeremiah did. First of all, God doesn't talk to you audibly. Okay? Some of y'all think so, but Some of y'all cuckoo. Jeremiah, God spoke to him audibly from the time he was a child. As he said, it was like a fire burning in my bones. From the womb, he called that boy. God spoke to Jeremiah not like many other prophets in history. Called him from a child. He knew God's voice. Spoke to him audibly. And Jeremiah came to a point where he said, God, I've been looking at this thing. I don't like it. And you know what? Since you're the man running everything, I have a complaint. I have an issue. I'm going to take that issue up with you. And this is what Jeremiah says. In Jeremiah chapter 12, he says this. And I love the respect because he starts it. Righteous art thou. God, I know you're righteous. O Lord, when I plead with thee, yet let me talk with thee of your judgments. I'm going to take out the these and the thys and the thou so we understand it. He says, you are righteous, O Lord, when I plead with you. Yet let me talk with you over your judgments. Wherefore does the way of the wicked prosper? God, how come evil people do well? How are you out here letting the wicked, the most wicked guys, prosper? What's going on? You're supposed to be this righteous God, but I'm seeing some kind of conundrum in this situation here. Look what he says. Wherefore does the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? How are these people happy and smiling and they're having a good time and they're clinking their glasses and they're on Instagram talking about they're on vacation and they're in Dubai and they're riding on camels and God, they're having big dinners. I see them doing all their stuff and they're in the parties and they're turning up and they're happy and they're prospering and you're not doing a thing about it, God. This is what Jeremiah is talking to God like, right? I'm giving you the hood version, but this is what he's carrying on with. Verse 2 says, you have planted them. Yes, they have also taken root. He goes, God, you put them there. You planted them. Not only have you planted them, they've taken roots. God, they've gotten comfortable. They grow. They bring forth fruit. You planted them. They've taken root. They're growing. They're bringing forth fruit. Right? Where am I? Thou art near in their mouth and far from their reins. They call God, oh, God's blessed me. This is all God, but you're far from controlling them. I believe that's how the scripture is supposed to. They're far from your reins. You're not reining them in like a horse running out of control. He says they got you in their mouth, but they definitely don't have any self-control that seems like it's being controlled by you. Verse 3 says, but you, O Lord, you know me. You have seen me. You have tried my heart. You've looked into who I am as a person and my heart toward you. But God, pull them out like sheep for the slaughter. God, come on now. You ever did that? You ever sat there and said, God, come on, man. How you going to make this? How you going to make this man get a bigger house than me? God, you seen how hard I work, God. How are you going to allow this woman to just rape me in the court like this? And I'm here like working like a dog. I've been taking care of that woman her whole life and them kids. Now them little old kids, them little bad little kids thinking I'm just supposed to just sit here like a big dummy. God, pull them up. Pull them up. This is what he says. He says, pull them out. I said, pull them up. He says, pull them out like sheep for the slaughter and prepare them for the day of slaughter. Ooh, Jeremiah's like, yo, Jeremiah did some old voodoos. Jeremiah's like, God, you need to kill all of them. You need to kill them. Kill them all. God, I don't like them. But put a curse on them and do something to them, but pull them up. Verse 4, he says, how long shall the land mourn? Now he's going pantheist. He's saying, God, it's not good for the environment. They're hurting the world, God. How long do the herbs of every field wither for the wickedness of those people that dwell there? Even the animals, the beasts, Lord God, are consumed. God, they're not doing good by the animals. The poor animals are dying for them. He's pulling every trick out of the book. And the birds, because they said, he shall not see our last end. God, they're acting like you're not even looking at them. They're acting like they can do anything. No, this ain't right. Now, this is what we do, right? This is kind of how we do. We act like this, right? We see stuff, and the Christian says, God, how you know these and the unbeliever, and the Hebrew says it, and the Muslim even says it, these infidels, and black people say it about white folk, black people say it about themselves. But look at this, God now has an answer. God quick with it. Jeremiah gave him 4 choice verses. God said, wait, hold on a second now. Let me explain something to you. Look what he said. He said, this is a little interesting to interpret, so allow me to give you my perspective on it, and I'll defer to anybody who wants to give their vantage point too. He says, if thou hast run with the footmen, and they have wearied thee, then how can you contend with horses? Greater allegory. And if in the land of peace, wherein thou wast trusted, thou wearied thee, then how will you do in the swelling of Jordan? He is saying to him, listen, man, you trying to figure this thing out? You trying to examine me? He said, brother, you can't even keep up with the situation that you have here, and you can't even win a race against men, and you trying to have a situation where you're trying to race against horses. He said, listen, you can't even understand what's taking place on your realm, and you're trying to understand what's taking place on my realm. You can't even keep your own land in check, and you're going to try to get into and you're going to try to keep the waters. The land is not the water. You can maybe control the land, but you can't control the Jordan River. So you now here trying to talk to me. That's what God's saying. You trying to check me. You're trying to put me in check. Okay, hold on. He's verse 6. That's why I always say God must be a Trinity, God must. Look what he said. He said, listen, for even your brethren and the house of your father, and even they have dealt treacherously. Listen here. Even your mother and your father, even them people that you call your own relative. You're trying to talk to me? Your own relative is what less? Your own mother and your father have no business being alive. I should have killed them too. That's what God is saying. I know he's Trinity. When you go to the Trinidadian airport, for those who ever go there, you go into the store, the little store that sells our trinkets, souvenir, and I want you to find this T-shirt. It's always there. It's always in plenty supply. It says God is our Trinity. It says just like that. Because this kind of petty is only a Trinidadian say this. He says, what? You can't even run with footmen, but you want to run with horses. You can't even control the land, but you want to control the great River Jordan, huh? Even your mother and your father whatless. Are you trying to talk to me about whatless people all over the place? Deal with your house. Watch what he says here. He says, for even thy brethren and the house of thy father, even they have dealt treacherously with you. Yea, they have called a multitude after you. But don't believe them. He says, believe them not, though they speak fair words unto thee. He says, I have forsaken mine house, and I have left mine inheritance, and I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. My heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore, I have hated it. Ooh. For those who understand the story, Jeremiah, his prophetic dispensation was prior to Israel being the southern kingdom, Judah being taken away by Nebuchadnezzar. Jeremiah's prophecy, I believe his ministry was 42 years, and he had a hard ministry because his entire ministry was Give up. God ain't going to save you. Nebuchadnezzar is going to come, surrender to him, and go. Or he's going to kill all of you. Now, how many of you would go to that pastor's church? Jeremiah preached for 42 years with nobody in his church. Oh, Lord. Imagine having a church where you're preaching for 42 years. Ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody listening. You got to keep the lights on, but you up there preaching. God told me to let you know that you're not going to make it. He told me to let you know that even though it looks good, it's bad. Even though it looks great, it's horrible. Even though she's beautiful, someone's going to take her away from you. God let me know that he's going to wipe all you out. Now, offering time. It's offering time. Jeremiah's message was, you guys are wicked, you're evil, and God's going to wipe you out. That's his whole message. That was his whole ministry. God said, bro, your own people, it's your own people who are calling out to me about even you. This is what I like here. Bobby G. Johnson. I was waiting for this comment, Bobby G. Johnson. Bobby G. Johnson says, Michael Jordan never acted woke, and he never complained. He never complained to Esau. He never acted woke. I don't know what the never complained to Esau part is, but can I deal with the never acted woke? When you say he never complained to Esau, you mean he never complained to white folk? I just want to clarify if that's what you got. I don't put words in your mouth. Now, Michael Jordan has probably been incredibly silent when it's come to initiatives that were concerning to the Black community. He has not been as outspoken. In fact, some would say he hasn't spoken at all when it has come to anything that seemingly was, as Bobby put it, woke. Okay, I think I got you. Yes, that's what I meant. But I think what Bobby's saying, and he never complained to Esau. He never complained to white people. He never really went there and said, white people didn't do this for me, white people didn't do that for me. So he kind of stayed in the middle. Again, I'm not sure if that's what you're saying, but I'm interpreting how that resonates with me. He's never come out and said, power to the people, and he's never come out and said, the white man is against me. He's basically completely stayed out of that conversation. He hasn't said peep, piggity boo, one way or another. Haven't said nothing about it. And for that, he has, Bobby just gave me thumbs up. For that, he has essentially stayed out of the political, racial limelight. Very wise, because Michael knows most of the people buying them shoes early on was little white boys, because as Nurse Shay said, we weren't the ones that could afford them early. When Nike started to switch and flip, I remember when a pair of Nike was $100, and for me in the 80s, I was like, $100 for Nike. I remember I went to two high schools. One was a private Catholic school, the De La Salle Oaklands. And then I transferred later on to the Oakwood Barons, that's where I got my scholarship. We're the baddest thing. We're the baddest thing next to a toaster and sliced bread in basketball in the city of Toronto. We were bad. Nobody's better than the Oakwood Barons. The 87-88 Oakwood Barons, our record went something like 90-2. All right. The only person who could talk to me is a brother by the name of College Charles, who met Jamal McGlure, played on his team. He was undefeated in high school, but you didn't play in the 80s, baby. You didn't play in the 80s, all right? We can say we lost 2 games in the 80s. Impossible. Okay, now, in the 80s, when I was at De La Salle, I was in a little Catholic white boy school. I was the only brother on the team, and of course, I was the baddest man on 2 legs. Now, what happened was I had a pair of basketball shoes. They were canvas shoes, and it was in the finals of this tournament. And some good old boy stepped on my canvas shoes. Don't know how he did it. And he cut my canvas shoes at the toe. and to the point where my toes were sticking out of the shoes. They tried to tape them up, and I kept playing. And every now and then my toe would stick out. I have to go back to the bench, tape them up. Coach said, we had a big white kid on the team. He's about 6'5", 300-pound white kid. He was the only kid. I was 6'5" too. He was the only kid. Him and I had the same shoe size. But that boy couldn't play basketball to save his life. He was just a giant. But he had brand new Converse weapons. Oh, yes, he did. He had the red weapons. Beautiful, pristine. Them shoes went to the warm-up line and went to the bench. That's the only thing those shoes did. And coach said, Cragmeyer, I don't know if his name was Cragmeyer, but he said, Cragmeyer, give Dell your shoes. We need them right now. Cragmeyer said, okay, coach. Took his shoes off. I laced up those pair of weapons. My God, my superpowers came alive. Okay? I don't know how many points we finished with, but I won the doggone trophy at the end of that. I won the doggone trophy, and I gave Cragmeyer back his shoes. And coach went like this. Give Cragmeyer the MVP trophy. I was like, are you serious, coach? Give Cragmeyer the MVP trophy. And I gave that white boy my MVP trophy for letting me wear his shoes. And I'm telling you, those were Converse. Those were Converse weapons. Mike's shoes came out the next year. The black and red ones. The Converse were too much money for me. I remember it was Isaiah. You remember that commercial? Magic and Bird doing the commercial with the weapons. And then the next year, Michael's shoes came out. The black and red Jordans. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't even have worn those shoes if I could have afforded them. I would have just carried them around my neck. We couldn't afford them shoes back in those days. Them shoes was too expensive, man. Them shoes, we couldn't afford them shoes. That was something that we just couldn't imagine it. And so what I'm saying, let me see what Bob said. That's true. They were the same age, brother, in the projects. All the hustlers and the Jordans with the LL Kang. Yes, and the crack. Yeah, man. That was a different era. That was a different era. The 80s was a different era. When Jordan came out with those shoes, it was something to look at. It was something to behold. It was a whole different era of basketball. But we, as a people, weren't participant necessarily in being able to wear them in Canada. Now, my boy is saying here, the hustlers could wear them because them were most of us out of the price range. When a brother walked down, I'm sure, and I'm not an American historically. From my youth, I went to American University at 17, 18, 19, whatever, 18 and on. But I can imagine being in the hood and them hustlers came out there and they're rocking those brand new shoes. Your eyes were just, as a young guy, your eyes be in my head like, wow, bro, how you get those? Of course you wanted to be those guys. You wanted to be those guys. But Mike understood, staying out of the racial conversation, that it really wasn't us behind the majority of them shoes. And so Mike stayed well away from having conversations about race, politics. He was about making sure the brand was successful. And I'm positive at that time, Nike didn't have him sign any kind of thing. Like listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If I ran the NBA, if I was given a young black kid, I'm being very specific, right? And other communities too, but I'll just say, I'm giving a young black kid $200 million to wear my product. Oh, you're going to have a morality class, and you shall not just about you shall not ride a motorcycle or go or dive out of an airplane. No. I will control your social media. You will not post unless it is authorized by me. You will not have a Twitter account. You will not have a Snapchat. No, baby, I'm making sure I insulate you from that drama. Mike didn't have any of that. Mike just said, I ain't talking about that. I'm not worried about that. By the way, let me see, tap to retry. Oh, thank God it came back. Mike didn't have any of that. Mike didn't have any of these clauses. Mike just said, I'm not in it. What we used to say. My name is Bennett and I'm not in it. That's what we used to say back in the day. He's like, I'm not having that conversation. I'm not worried about that. I'm playing basketball. I'm talking about wins. I'm talking about rings. That's all I'm talking about. And he wore the heck out of them shoes. And look at him now. He is an institution that we as a people are the greatest critics about. This has to stop. It has to stop. We need to dive into understanding our historical people, understanding the what it takes. You know what? Many of us don't know what it takes to do what these guys are doing. Yeah, Michael was born with incredible gifts, and he had an incredible work ethic to maintain those gifts. But going from there on, we know what happened at the Wizards. He was outsmarted, he was tricked, he was bamboozled. What it takes to build yourself from simply being a gifted athlete to being a mogul in the business realm, those are two different skill sets, my friends. Two different skill sets. And how many guys have come before him who haven't been able to do it? Magic, he tried it, right? Kareem, this hadn't been anywhere near successful of doing it. Dr. J didn't do it. Dr. J, I believe in Philadelphia, he owned Pepsi. He owned a bunch of Pepsi. He was a major stakeholder in Pepsi, I believe, in Philly. But as far as being a billionaire, he didn't reach there. He didn't get to that level. And Doc is a guy like Jordan probably could have done it. And comparable to Jordan, never spoke out on really things like that. He wasn't Bill Russell. He didn't speak out on things like that. He wasn't Chamberlain in respect to speaking out on various things. So when it comes down to it, our people are extremely hypocritical when it comes to the fact that we can call out the injustices and the scrutiny of other people when it comes, and other communities, when it comes to ridiculing us. But we go out there and drag down the greatest amongst us. And it's the NBA Finals, and it's come up again because, like I said at the beginning, Caleb Martin played such an incredible game, such an incredible series, and they're saying, well, Michael Jordan, you're a terrible, what somebody wrote, this is what they put on their Twitter, Michael Jordan, you're going to hell for some of the terrible decisions you made as an owner. That comment blew up Twitter. Everybody picked it up saying, Michael Jordan's a terrible owner. Look at Caleb Martin. If he would have kept Caleb Martin, la, 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 la. Michael Jordan didn't have anything to do with doggone Caleb Martin. Michael Jordan's out there smoking cigarettes, swinging a golf club. He didn't even probably know Caleb Martin's name. Why is he paying attention to a guy in the G League trying to make his team? Michael Jordan, that's not Michael Jordan's issue. Putting all this stuff on Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT. Leave the GOAT alone. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say to you. Leave the GOAT alone. And in the words of Jeremiah, before you go out there questioning God, look at your own house. Before you go out there and saying, God, the injustices that I've seen in my life, God, the way that I've been treated, God, the way that our people have been left and dashed to pieces, God, look out unto the heathen and crush them. Look out and do this and do that. And God's saying, bro, go look to your mother and your father because they don't even pray for you. Go look to your children. Them little children, they're up here sending text messages saying, I hate my dad. You go look to them. Okay? Go look to the GOAT, baby. He's the GOAT. We come on. What easier thing to do? Right? I wish that dog should stop barking in the name of Jesus. I wish you would. I wish you would. Lord, I wish you would. What is the easiest thing to do? Look at God. Oh. The easiest thing to do is to line up behind the bandwagon. There is nobody out here. Nobody. There is not one of you. There is not one of you who 12 years ago was a Golden State fan. 15. Let's get 15. Before Golden State got Stephen Curry, before Golden State started actually winning championships, y'all were no Golden State fans. Y'all are bandwagon fans, most of you. Most of you are bandwagon Golden State Warriors fans. Yes, you are. You didn't watch that team in Oakland. You didn't watch that team. You were LA fans. You might even have some people that actually were Clipper fans more than you had Golden State fans. You joined the bandwagon. That's all. That's okay. So why don't we do that with some of our great leaders? Jump on the Michael Jordan bandwagon. He is the first majority black owner. Just like some of you who are LeBron James fan, whatever LeBron does, you do. If LeBron switches teams, all of a sudden you're a Laker fan, right? You're a Heat fan. You're a Cleveland fan. You just follow LeBron. Why don't we do that for some of other individuals too? Okay. Last but not least, the last few minutes, Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, Splitsville. That should be a whole nother show. Shannon Sharp and Splitsville. Apparently, they have bought out Shannon. Let me see. Thank you for all these random fans. With my son in order for him to have appreciation for NBA history, I made him watch older games. Now he even at least knows Jordan's the best. Come on, Bob. That's what you're supposed to do. Come on. You got to know that. You know what I did to my kids before I go back to Shannon Sharp? My children, my oldest ones, I used to tell them that when they saw Michael or Magic Johnson on television, I used to say, that's me. And I turned the volume down. I'd be like, that's me out there. Like, Dad, that's you? I'm like, yeah. They used to call me Magic. Anyway, Shannon Sharp. Oh, I have a lot to say about Shannon Sharp. Because Shannon, and it should be a whole nother show, and I'm probably going to make it a whole nother show. Shannon's not going to be part of Skip. Skip and Shannon's relationship is now severed. Apparently he's going to go through the NBA finals, and then after the NBA finals, they're going in a different direction. So the next season, Shannon Sharp is not going to be with Skip. Now, I'm going to follow that up with another show later, but I'm going to have a conversation about Shannon and Skip Bayless and the marriage of Bert and Ernie. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. Bert and Ernie, we're going to talk about those guys later. Okay? I've been here for an hour. Let's leave it at that. Shannon Sharp, we're going to talk about you in a minute. And Skip Bayless, the Sesame Street of sports TV. We'll talk soon. Bert and Ernie, that's who them suckers are. They're Bert and Ernie. Okay? Shannon is Ernie, and Skip is Bert. That's who those jokers are. We're going to talk about that later. Love, peace, and hair grease. Thank you very much for hanging out. Listen, Cyclopses are in the building. Adi Al-Katani, the Spice Man. Go on the community page and get some stuff from the Spice Man. Don't forget my merch. We've got lots of merch in here. I can't keep all this merch. Take some of the merch with you. Buy some of the merch. Join, subscribe, share. Click the bell button so that you know when it's coming on. If you got a better topic that I can talk about, tell me your topics. Go on my Instagram. Get into my DM. All the things are up here on the YouTube page. The beacons, you can follow me anywhere. God bless you. Love you guys. And we'll talk soon. It's Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. Shiloh, stand up. LMS. There we go.